Everybody, welcome to our special interview with the amazing Jason Douglas. You know him from Dragon Ball Z. You know him from The Walking Dead. You know him as Satan in Preacher, Jack Reacher, so many things, RWBY, and more. Jason, how are you doing?
Hey, man, I'm okay. Kyle, good to see you. It's been a minute.
Oh, yeah. I think we met at Monster Mania, and
That's right.
And we hung out at Walker Stalkers.
Right.
I don't imagine we're going to be doing that again anytime ever, but you know, that is. Right.
No, but we've stayed connected. You and I have followed the Captain Kyle show, and I love it. So it's an honor to be back with you. I think this is, even though we've stayed connected, I'm not sure we've ever done another interview since Monster Mania.
No, we haven't. So
first time to chat in a few years.
We have a lot of ground to cover because I've been watching your stuff. Wow. But first, let's talk about, how are you handling not being able to go places?
Right. Well, I am. How does I say this? Because I know that others, particularly in more populous areas like Metro New York, really have to lock down. And I live in North Texas. I live kind of outside the Dallas area. We certainly do have our restrictions in place, and everybody's wearing masks. But we do stay home, just going out for necessities, groceries, etc. And but I've got a backyard, so my kids can run around. I can run around. I've been doing landscaping and yard work. I've been grilling. I am determined to become a pit master, a barbecue pit master. Smoke, I love a good brisket. So in fact, I'm grilling some fish tonight. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to stay busy around here. Like, there's a ton of stuff that, when you're just sort of busy with life, that gets neglected, and now it's like we have all the time in the world. So every day is Groundhog Day. Like, I don't know what day it is from day to day, but I just I try to stay busy. So
if it wasn't for my phone, I wouldn't know what day it was either.
Yeah.
So I heard the kids. You have 2 kids, is that right?
So we actually have. Well, we have 5. We have 4 kids plus my nephew who lives with us.
Do the kids appreciate you being home more and not going out to sets or to the recording studio? Or
Right. Yeah. I don't know if they do. I was away from home a lot during the shooting of The Walking Dead, and prior to that, I was pretty busy. And then after that ended, of course, I went to New Orleans and I shot Preacher. And then after that, I had I've had a couple of, independent films and stuff that have mostly shot locally. But I haven't been as busy, just generally speaking. I've been doing a ton of voiceover work. So, for me and for them, I think what I'm trying to do is kind of keep them busy, because now there's a ton of homeschooling that has to happen, and they're all still doing that every day. So I'm trying to participate as best I can, but she's really good at that stuff.
So what does your wife do when she's not stuck at home?
Yeah. Well, my wife has always kind of worked in and around the healthcare fields, but she's mostly been kind of how would you describe it? Like a domestic engineer. I mean, I hate to, I wouldn't want anybody to think that sometimes, used to say housewife, but that's really a derogatory sounding statement. I mean, she really runs the house, and she runs the kind of the affairs of our home and our lives and hey, that's enough. Sorry, that's my dog. She's busy. She works harder than I do. And I know she is. She's a student. She is potentially a nursing student. She's taking some classes and trying to decide whether she is going to go to nursing school. But when we met, she was working, doing some work as a midwife with a midwife, and she aspired to that early on. And so she still has some of that interest in obstetrics and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, she's really a hero to me and to the kids. I know that for sure.
Well, with 5 kids, and running the house, yeah.
And we homeschooled for a number of years, and so she was super involved in that and involved in those communities. And so she was also teaching classes, for other kids in our sort of the homeschooling circles, because that's how it's done. It's kind of a cooperative effort, and so yeah, she's always been super busy and just kind of involved in everything. So
very cool. Sounds like you had a leg up when this came along, though. For you, you're working on stuff around home. How much work are you able to do, like with your voice work? Obviously, you can't do too much going to sets. Are you auditioning, self-taping?
So yeah, there's been a few auditions that have come through, productions that are trying to kind of ramp up and be ready for when all of this kind of begins to lift. So I've had a couple of those. I am doing some voice work from home. I had a session today. I've had a few sessions, over the last few weeks at various times. I think I may be doing some work on RWBY from home next week. So I know Funimation, interestingly, they just were able to arrange for the latest episode of My Hero Academia to be recorded, and all of the actors recorded their parts from their home studios. So the world of voiceover was always kind of moving toward that in terms of, if you're really going to be a player, you really need to have some kind of home setup, a decent home studio. And that's more true now than it ever was before, because those of us who are able to kind of stay in the mix are able to do so because we have the equipment and we have the room set up, and we're not scrambling to try to figure out how to make it happen. We've been doing it all along. So that's where I am, on that, is just kind of hitting the auditions. And I think at a certain point, one starts to think about what does my career look like after all this? It's a great time, I think, for any actor to kind of evaluate, because things are slower right now. We kind of, I think it's a good time for anybody to just kind of sit back and imagine how could things be different. Mm-hmm. And I know I've been doing that, and so yeah, I mean, I've been working with a couple of local filmmakers here in North Texas. We've got one lined up. Currently, we're set to start shooting in June, assuming that we can do that. So I'm excited about it, and I can't give anything away, but I think we may have some interesting talent that your audience might be interested in. I don't know. I can't say it officially because they're still talking with the guy, but he might be somebody that I've worked with on a show that everybody knows about.
All right. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
I will tell you, though, it's a very cool sort of a Texas action thriller, which I seem to have done a few of in the last few years. I seem to be drawn to those. I don't know why.
It's a shame your character in Walking Dead died, because it would actually make sense for you now to be with the Texas group in Fear.
It would make so much sense. I would love for that to have happened. I'm envious in a good way. Don't misunderstand me. But when I think of like Austin Amelio, he's a Texas guy. He's in Austin. He's literally from Austin from Austin. So, he's going home at night. He's sleeping in his own bed and seeing his kids in the morning before he goes to set. How amazing is that? So yeah, I missed that one by a season or two, I guess. But I mean, I had a good run. I can't complain. I was 25 episodes on The Walking Dead. I mean, sure, it would have been
more than I got.
Hey, a lot. I mean, listen. I meet people that are big fans of the show, and I appreciate this because they say I would love to just. They'll say I would just love to be a walker, or I would love to just, make one appearance on the show. And when I worked on the show, I met some really dedicated people who were the kind of the background on the show, and kind of got to know them a little bit. And man, they're just doing it for the love of the craft and of the show. And they're happy to be there. So it kind of puts things in perspective for me. Like you got to bring kind of a healthy understanding of what we're really doing. I mean, we're getting paid to dress up and play pretend. I mean, that's an amazing job. So, yeah.
And then you get to go to conventions, though not right now.
Not right now.
Are you missing out on because of this? Did you have anything scheduled for this year?
Things were slowing down for me last year, and I had some things that kind of fell through for various reasons. So there were shows I was supposed to do, and then they didn't happen. So I currently have a horror convention scheduled for this fall in Kansas City, okay. And I'm excited about that. And yeah, so that's the only thing I've got on my calendar coming up. There was another show. Oh yeah, I was looking to be I was going to be kind of a last minute booking for Comic Palooza down in Houston, I think. Is that what it is? It's Comic Palooza, right? And yeah, so that was supposed to happen like now, and that went away. So it's unfortunate. Yeah.
Well, let's take a short break.
Yeah, sure.
And we will be back with some more questions in another video.
This is Goku. Thanks for watching. And remember, don't forget to subscribe. Yeah!